If you cough, can you die of a heart attack? Is one thing and the other related? Actually, the CDC just came out with a huge study of 80,000 people that were probably coughing, almost certainly were coughing. It wasn't a cough study. And then they had problems with their heart. Well, what's that all about? Hi, welcome back. I'm Dr. Oscar Hernandez, board certified internist and practicing pediatrician. You know that we've been talking about all things COVID, and I'm trying to loosen up on the COVID thing and start talking about other things. But it turns out there's a bunch of things that are related to COVID type symptoms that are not necessarily COVID. So we're going to start parsing some of those things out. And the first thing I want to talk about today is flu, because there's a lot of worry that people who have issues with flu, if they also get COVID-19 at the same time, can wake up one day and be extremely sick. And in fact, that's exactly what we expect is going to happen. We'll see. Now, the good thing is that we can do something to avoid the flu. And we certainly have flu vaccines that are very, very effective, especially in patients who are in high risk groups. So it turns out that the CDC just came out with a study on August 25th of 80,000 people. This is a very big study, and it was a retrospective study. That means it looked at people in the past. Still an important piece of information with 80,000 people that we simply cannot ignore. And what they did was they followed patients that had had flu over a number of epidemic seasons. They went from the 2010-2011 to the 2017-2018 season. In other words, they had about 8 years worth of data on the flu. And this is what they found. They found things that had been found already in prior, much, much smaller studies. Those types of studies that make you think, maybe there's something here. And then you look at this, and it really makes you think that there's a big connection. What happened to those patients who had the flu? A lot of them were having the flu symptoms. The cough, the congestion, the snot, all these things, and many of these patients wound up in the hospital, which is where this data comes from. Now, we have tens of thousands of patients a year who get the flu. This is an 80,000 patient study over many years. Why didn't they do more? Well, these particular patients had wound up in the hospital with the flu, and many patients who are in the high-risk groups, you know, those who are at risk for lung disease, like the asthmatics, the COPDers, the emphysema patients, those who are overweight, those who have other problems with their heart, with diabetes. No, these are the people who tend to wind up in the hospital. What happened to those patients? What was the link between their cough and their flu and their heart? Well, it was a very ugly link. Let's go through that. And this is new data, so you're listening to our updates here on these programs, so you're getting cutting-edge medicine. So make sure that you send this to your friends or relatives or family so they too can stay informed. Here's what happened. These people started to suffer from heart attacks. There was damage to the myocardium, ergo a heart attack. They had inflammation and swelling of the heart muscle in many cases. This is called myocarditis. They had inflammation and swelling of the sac in which the heart rests. This is called pericarditis. And they started to have problems with the pumping of the heart, the function of what we call the left ventricle, one of the main chambers of the heart that pumps blood to the rest of the body. It started to weaken. And then we wind up having things like fluid in the lung, the old water in the lung. Maybe you've heard of that expression. And these people maybe sometimes have swelling of the legs, and it's very difficult to breathe. And this is called congestive heart failure, a disease that carries a high 5-year mortality. Now, these folks didn't necessarily have heart disease before. Some might have had heart disease, but many did not. So this is a very gruesome finding, because the heart is being attacked at multiple levels. It's being attacked at the level of the heart muscle. It's being attacked at the level of the blood flow, the coronary arteries that are going to the heart. It's being attacked at the level of the sac in which the heart is resting in. There's a lot of stuff going on here. We cannot really ignore this. And here's the bottom line in the infographic that the CDC is releasing on its posting. It said 1 in 8 patients had sudden heart complications. This means that these were not expected to have happened in these patients. 1 of these patients, almost 1/3 were admitted to the ICU. And very, very sadly, 7% died. Well, 93% didn't die. Yeah, but suppose you were one of the 7%. Or your father was one of the 7%, or your mother, or your sister, or your uncle, or your friend next door. Oh, now it starts to hit home, doesn't it? So, we need to be very aware of this. What can we do to keep ourselves, our friends, our families from having to face this kind of drumbeat? Get your flu shot. Oh, well, doctor, I had an aunt who took a flu shot 5 years ago, and she was so sick. She had a cold for a week. So what? Have a cold for a week. Protect yourself from death. 7% death rate among those patients admitted to the hospital in this huge 80,000 person retrospective studies. Retrospective studies have their limitations, but let me tell you, we cannot ignore these numbers. Who should get a flu shot? Unless there's a real good reason not to get a flu shot, everybody should get a flu shot. And if you need a real good reason, talk to your doctor, because he's the one who can give you a real good reason. I got sick last time I used it. Well, the flu shot changes every year. Maybe you won't get sick this time. How often do people get symptoms of cough, congestion, or cold from a flu shot? Rarely. But boy, when somebody gets it, they're out there, they're trumpeting it like it's going to happen to everybody, and it's not going to happen to everybody. Let me tell you, last year in the last flu season, we lost 188 children from the flu. I know. In a day and age when we're looking at 200,000 dead Americans from COVID-19, that doesn't seem to be that alarming. Children, people. How many children have died of COVID? Nowhere close to 188. And yet we're very aware of COVID in children when it does happen, or in the post-COVID complication of Kawasaki-like illness when it happens in children. So take this to heart. Now, what things can you do to avoid complications from the flu when you do get it? Well, if you got the flu shot, you're probably not going to die of the flu. We know that the flu shot decreases mortality. And if you got the flu, you're going to get attenuated symptoms. And it specifically decreases mortality in those who are at highest risk. But we recommend that everybody get the flu shot from the age of 6 months old and beyond, unless there's a fabulously good reason. And remember, the flu shot is a once-a-year thing. So that's why I mentioned children, because we start giving the flu shot at about 6 months of age going forward. Now, there's millions of children in this country. 188 died. Statistically, not a huge number, unless it's your kid, right? And this is something that is preventable with the flu shot in many, many cases. There's also a difference between the flu shot and COVID, and that's that we do have some treatment with antiviral remedies for the flu. The flu, by the way, doesn't generally shed as long as COVID sheds, so it's a little bit less dangerous in that way. The other thing that's very important for you to know is that many people who have flu have the same symptoms as they did COVID. In our office, we have the capability of testing for both COVID, SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes an illness called COVID-19, and for the flu. We can do both of these tests in a 10-minute time. We have a very rapid response in our armament here in the office to test you for both of these illnesses. As the flu season comes around, I'll probably be recommending a lot of these tests, because the treatment and the isolation and the quarantine and all that is totally different between flu and between COVID-19. Now, the signs and symptoms of flu and COVID can be almost identical. So this is going to cause a lot of confusion among our patients. Fever, cough, which was my opening statement, shortness of breath, difficulty breathing, fatigue, sore throat, runny and stuffy nose, body aches and pains. Many of you know from listening to these videos and everything else that these are among the CDC's recognized symptoms of COVID-19. Oh wait, I'm reading from another CDC article. It's called Influenza, Similarities and Differences Between the Flu and COVID-19. Well, if you look at the bottom of the article, these are common to both of those illnesses. So it can be very difficult for a clinician, for a doctor, from a doctor at an urgent care center or in an emergency room to figure out the differences between these two illnesses. In the old days, if I thought somebody had flu, I'd give them some flu medicine, tell them to stay away from other people, go home, call me in 10 days. We can't do that anymore, because now you might have COVID-19. And now you're putting a lot of other people at risk for death. Now, of course, we now have good studies that show that even the flu can be a problem when it comes to heart disease. By the way, the other thing that you can do to keep yourself safe in times of flu, even in times of COVID, or safer, not really safe, but safer, is to lose the weight. Yeah, you know, that thing that's down here? By the way, let's remember the poor man's test to know if you're obese. If you're in the shower and you look down and you can't see your feet, you're just plain old obese. You better take action. If you're in the shower and you look down and you can see your feet, but you can't tell what your gender is, you're overweight. So in either case, you do the shower test. And if you haven't been able to lose weight on your own, come in and see me. We do Florida Bariatrics and Nutrition. We got a little pamphlet there somewhere. I'm not going to hold it up right now. I think I am. Hold on. Here it is, folks. It is right here. Florida Bariatrics and Nutrition. If you need help losing weight, come see us in the weight loss program. We have a lot of good deals going on because we're trying to help people who may otherwise not be able to afford this. If you do it on your own, that's fine. If you go to Jenny Craig, that's fine. If you go to Weight Watchers, that's fine. But do something. And start a walking program unless there's a reason not to, like maybe some underlying heart disease or you got angina or something like that. All right, folks, we're done with this segment. Next time, we're going to look at this article, The Cough That Won't Go Away. Again, I'm going to be harping on the issue of cough because now as the flu season, COVID season, hopefully it's not good. We're not going to have a spike now in phase 2 here in the Miami-Dade area, but we probably will, so let's pray for small numbers. But we're going to be talking more about cough because as the season starts to wind up for our winter here in Miami, we're going to see more cough, and I have to deal with this every year. Except this year, it's different because now we got COVID on the horizon, and we have to start parsing out all this stuff. If you like the program, give us a thumbs up. Pass it on to your friends, family. Subscribe. If not, you're not going to be getting this stuff on an ongoing basis. You'll have to dig through the internet to find it. Hopefully, it's worth your time doing that. But hopefully, you can just subscribe, and we'll be there for you. Hey, see you next time. Thanks for listening.